Feminism. Feminism is a political ideology that advocates for gender equality and the empowerment of women in society. Feminists seek to challenge and dismantle patriarchal structures and attitudes that oppress and discriminate against women. They advocate for women's rights, reproductive rights, and equal opportunities in areas such as education, employment, and politics. Liberalism. Liberalism is a political ideology that prioritizes individual rights, equality, and social justice. Liberals typically advocate for government intervention in areas such as healthcare, education, and the economy to ensure equal opportunities for all citizens. They believe in progressive taxation, civil liberties, and a robust social safety net. Conservatism. Conservatism emphasizes traditional values, limited government intervention, and free market principles. Conservatives believe in personal responsibility, individual freedom, and a strong national defense. They often advocate for lower taxes, deregulation, and a focus on family values and religious morality. Libertarianism. Libertarianism is a political philosophy that prioritizes individual liberty and minimal government interference in both personal and economic matters. Libertarians advocate for a free market economy, limited government involvement in social issues, and maximum personal freedom, including the legalization of drugs and the abolition of most government agencies. Socialism. Socialism is an economic and political system that advocates for collective ownership of the means of production and distribution of wealth. Socialists believe in reducing income inequality through progressive taxation, extensive social welfare programs, and government control over key industries. They prioritize social welfare, economic equality, and public ownership of essential services. Communism. Communism is a political and economic ideology that seeks to establish a classless society where all property is owned communally and wealth is distributed according to need. Communists aim to abolish private property, eliminate social classes, and create a stateless, moneyless society. However, historical attempts at implementing communism have often led to authoritarian regimes. Progressivism. Progressivism is a political ideology that advocates for social reform and improvement through government action. Progressives prioritize issues such as environmental protection, healthcare reform, and civil rights. They seek to address social injustices and promote equality through policies such as affirmative action, environmental regulation, and healthcare expansion. Neoconservatism. Neoconservatism is a political ideology that emerged in the 1960s and 1970s as a reaction to liberalism and pacifism. Neoconservatives advocate for a robust foreign policy, including military intervention to promote democracy and American interests abroad. They prioritize national security, free market capitalism, and a strong military presence. Paleoconservatism. Paleoconservatism is a traditionalist form of conservatism that emphasizes limited government, constitutionalism, and cultural preservation. Paleoconservatives oppose rapid social change and advocate for a return to traditional values and institutions. They are skeptical of globalization, immigration, and international intervention. Anarchism. Anarchism is a political philosophy that advocates for the abolition of all forms of government and authority. Anarchists believe in voluntary cooperation, direct democracy, and decentralized decision-making. They oppose hierarchy, coercion, and oppression in all its forms, seeking to create a society based on voluntary associations and mutual aid. Nationalism. Nationalism is a political ideology that prioritizes the interests and cultural identity of a particular nation or ethnic group. Nationalists advocate for policies that strengthen national sovereignty, promote national unity, and protect national borders. They often emphasize patriotism, cultural heritage, and national pride. Populism. Populism is a political approach that appeals to the concerns and grievances of ordinary people against elites and established institutions. Populists often advocate for policies that challenge the status quo and promise to represent the interests of the common folk against the political establishment. Populist movements can emerge on both the left and the right of the political spectrum. Environmentalism. Environmentalism is a political ideology that prioritizes the protection of the natural environment and sustainability. Environmentalists advocate for policies to combat climate change, protect endangered species, and conserve natural resources. They promote renewable energy, environmental regulation, and conservation efforts to preserve ecosystems for future generations. Black nationalism. Black nationalism is a political ideology that advocates for the empowerment, liberation, and self-determination of Black people. Black nationalists seek to challenge systemic racism and discrimination, often promoting separatism or autonomous Black communities. They emphasize cultural pride, economic self-sufficiency, and political solidarity among Black communities. Democratic socialism. Democratic socialism combines elements of socialism and democracy, advocating for social ownership of key industries and extensive welfare programs within a democratic political system. Democratic socialists prioritize economic equality, social justice, and participatory democracy. They seek to achieve socialism through democratic means rather than revolutionary overthrow. Objectivism. Objectivism is a philosophical and political ideology developed by Ayn Rand that emphasizes individualism, rational self-interest, and laissez-faire capitalism. Objectivists believe in the objective reality of existence, the pursuit of individual happiness, and the moral virtue of rational self-interest. They oppose altruism, collectivism, and government intervention in the economy. Christian democracy. Christian democracy is a political ideology that seeks to integrate Christian principles and values into democratic governance. Christian Democrats advocate for social justice, solidarity, and human dignity, drawing inspiration from Christian ethics and teachings. They support policies that promote family values, subsidiarity, and the common good within a pluralistic society. Green politics. Green politics is a political ideology that prioritizes ecological sustainability, social justice, and grassroots democracy. Green parties advocate for policies to address environmental degradation, promote renewable energy, and reduce consumption and waste. They emphasize local decision-making, participatory democracy, and social equity in achieving a sustainable future. Technocracy. Technocracy is a political ideology that advocates for governance by technical experts and professionals rather than elected politicians. Technocrats believe that decision-making should be based on scientific expertise and rational analysis rather than political ideology or popular opinion. They prioritize efficiency, expertise, and evidence-based policymaking in addressing complex societal challenges. National conservatism. National conservatism is a political ideology that combines conservative principles with a focus on national identity, sovereignty, and cultural tradition. National conservatives prioritize the interests and values of the nation-state over globalism and multiculturalism. They advocate for policies that promote national cohesion, economic nationalism, and traditional values. Classical liberalism. Classical liberalism is a political ideology that emphasizes individual freedom, limited government, and free market capitalism. Classical liberals believe in the protection of natural rights, including life, liberty, and property. They advocate for minimal government intervention in the economy and society, promoting free trade, rule of law, and civil liberties. Market liberalism. Market liberalism, also known as neoliberalism, is a political ideology that advocates for free market capitalism, deregulation, and privatization of state-owned enterprises. Market liberals believe in reducing government intervention in the economy to promote economic efficiency and individual freedom. They prioritize market competition, private property rights, and globalization. Anarcho-capitalism. Anarcho-capitalism is a political philosophy that combines elements of anarchism and capitalism, advocating for a stateless society where all services, including law enforcement and defense. Monarchism. Monarchism is a political ideology that supports a system of government where power is vested in a hereditary monarch. Monarchists believe that a monarchy provides stability, continuity, and a unifying symbol for the nation. They advocate for a ceremonial or constitutional monarchy with limited powers, often combined with democratic institutions. Distributism. Distributism is a political and economic ideology that advocates for widespread distribution of property and ownership of the means of production. Distributists oppose both capitalism and socialism, favoring a decentralized economy composed of small-scale enterprises, family farms, and cooperatives. They prioritize economic decentralization, social solidarity, and local self-sufficiency. Religious fundamentalism. Religious fundamentalism is a political ideology characterized by a strict adherence to religious doctrines and a desire to establish a society based on religious principles. Fundamentalists seek to impose their religious beliefs on society through legal and social means, often advocating for theocracy and the enforcement of moral codes derived from religious texts. Pluralism. Pluralism is a political ideology that emphasizes diversity, tolerance, and the coexistence of multiple cultures, religions, and viewpoints within society. Pluralists advocate for inclusivity, dialogue, and respect for different identities and perspectives. They prioritize policies that promote multiculturalism, religious freedom, and equal rights for minority groups. Radicalism. Radicalism is a political ideology that seeks fundamental change in the existing social, economic, or political order. Radicals often reject mainstream political institutions and tactics, advocating for revolutionary or disruptive actions to achieve their goals. Radical movements can emerge on both the left and the right of the political spectrum, challenging established power structures. Secularism. Secularism is a political ideology that advocates for the separation of religion and government, ensuring that state institutions remain neutral toward religious beliefs and practices. Secularists prioritize individual freedom of conscience, religious pluralism, and the protection of secular governance from religious interference. They oppose the imposition of religious laws or doctrines on society,